Hey friends, Kevin here in my little camper van with this monster-sized Dabbsson power station. Now the company did send this to me to try out and share the results with you. I told them I was going to be very hard on this. I was going to abuse it. They said go for it, so that is what we're going to do. So let's get this thing out, get it set up, and then I'm headed out on a trip. We're going to put this through its paces. This thing is very well packaged. Box on top that should be our accessories. Big instruction manual under it. So it's going to include an electrical cord. It is going to include a 12-volt adapter to charge it while we're driving. And it is going to include a solar adapter, because I do have solar panels on here. And I've done a lot of power stations before, and usually you get some combination of 2 out of the 3 of these. I don't recall ever opening the box and having all 3 of these as 3 ways to charge this thing without having to go and buy extra cables. So this is really handy. Pretty detailed instruction manual, a lot of pictures, shows you all of the different combinations for hooking this up. Single solar panels, multiple solar panels. Very nice looking unit. The handles on top are handy, completely smooth top, so you can stack things on here if you need to. 53% out of the box. Let me get this thing fully charged. Okay, it's a few days later. I got this thing charged. I took off on a trip. I've been using this day and night for several days, using and abusing it every way I can think of. So let me show you the features of this real quick, and then we're going to stress test this unit. Okay, normally in this camper this would be under the bed, but I've thrown it up on top of the bed just to make it easier to see. So you have your inputs on one side, you have your electrical outputs on the other side, which gives you a nice clean front panel. USB stuff over here, 12-volt stuff over here. You do have a built-in light if you need it, low, high, emergency mode, which will flash and off. You have your built-in 12-volt. You also have 2 expansion ports, which I like, which will let you run 3 12-volt devices at the same time. This is what I do. I bought a little adapter so I can have this as a 12-volt port, which runs my refrigerator. You can see my refrigerator kicking on now. Flip on some USB. There's one device charging. There's my phone charging. But let's start to stress test this. I have an electric blanket with me, so we're going to pop on our electrical side. Plug this in. Now on a really cold night camping, I can plug in this electric blanket for a few minutes, get everything nice and toasty before I go to bed. So let's really put this thing through its paces with a ceramic heater. Now this is going to be a really high drain device. This will tell us what these electrical outlets are going to do, what they are able to maintain. Same thing with a microwave, a hair dryer, different power tools, other high drain devices that you may be using for a few minutes on the road, or when you're out on a work site, or if you are at home dealing with a power failure. See, we have some power. So we're outputting through USB 12-volt. We have an electric blanket on at the same time. There's our first heat setting. Second heat setting. Crank that thing all the way up. Power this heater right on down. You can go in and tweak a lot of settings to your liking with an app if you choose to do that. That is not required. Now let me tell you where this Dabbsson unit really shines over a lot of other brands. There are a lot of these portable power stations that once you get them, you will find out they were designed by people who never go camping, have never actually done this stuff in the real world because they didn't think this stuff out real well. So out of the box, this is set up to not automatically turn off your electrical part. A lot of these power stations will do this to save energy and claim a longer life. The problem is if you have something plugged into this that does not draw continuous power, it shuts off. That device is pretty useless to you. You do have the option, if you don't need that, to go in and turn that off in the settings. However, for anyone doing van life, using this in an RV, using this camping, whatever the case may be, the most important thing to us, 12 volt, because that is what we have our refrigerators plugged into. We all are running 12 volt refrigerators. 12 volt refrigerators do not draw constant power because they do not stay on all of the time. They run about 1/3 of the time. They go through these on again, off again cycles. And there are power stations out there that, when they don't sense a signal for a couple of minutes coming to these 12 volt ports, they will turn themselves off. You can get into that situation where if you're camping somewhere and the temperature during the night is fairly consistent, that the refrigerator isn't running much, and the power station then turns off that signal. The problem is, as the refrigerator heats up and your food heats up, it doesn't know to turn itself back on. So if you get up the next morning, you don't notice it, you leave, you go to work, you're out with friends, whatever, you have a situation where as the temperature rises through the day, you can come back to your van, to your camper, and your refrigerator isn't running because your power station decided to save some power. Dabbsson had enough foresight to know that, and these 12 volt ports are set to never turn off. If you turn them on, they stay on unless you manually turn them off. That keeps you from having any of the problems running 12 volt refrigerators that I have seen with some other brands, and can potentially save you from a situation where you have spoiled food. So I'm usually really good at nitpicking things I don't like with products. I really haven't found anything to nitpick about this one so far. So in the time I've been using this, pretty intuitive, no problem running these high power devices. But the main thing for any of us campers, not turning that 12 volt port off ever, unless we choose to turn it off. If you have any experience using a Dabbsson power station, let me know what your experiences have been down in the comments, good or bad. Any questions you may have about this power station, what it can do, what it can't do, put those down in the comment section too. We'll talk soon.